ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new video. My name is RuffledRowlit. This is the Pokemon Rumors video, yes! Okay, no, it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about a theory, okay? We got a mixture of theories here that I think are quite intriguing, to be putting it in simple terms, okay? It's quite intriguing. Let me put it that way, okay? It's very intriguing, ladies and gentlemen. It's very intriguing. Okay, but seriously though, guys, we got rumors today. We got some... Actually, no, we don't have rumors in this video, sorry. We have rumors in general. I mean, go watch the other videos. There's a ton of them. Today we have a theory, actually, a bit of a speculation, if anything, that comes from two different people, including a little bit of artwork here, which you will see on the screen here. You saw in the thumbnail. Major shout out to the Drake95 on Instagram. The dude, just amazing work making that, like, you know, just big hunky boy, Melmetal Evolution looking ass boy. So if you want to check out the Drake95, I will link him down below. It will be linked down below to his Instagram. Go check him out. Give that man some love. I'm telling you, give that man some love. But yeah, so he's in the thumbnail, but I want to cover that. I want to talk about his little image, but I also want to talk about a specific theory that I think is actually really, really good. So that's going to start here with Brian McAvoy. Now, Brian sent this my way, saying the giant on the hill in the Sword and Shield trailer shares some serious similarities to the Taranis from Gaelic myth. Taranis is associated with lightning, electric type, and fire type. There is also a cult that follows them in the ancient times. Evil team, question mark. And I'm like, and I saw this and I looked it up and I was like, dude, Brian, you are correct, my dude. Now, what is this thing he's talking about? Well, he's talking about Taranis from Gaelic myth, which is also this right here. So as you may read here in the top, and you got a little picture over here, which I'll can't really. I mean, it's got a little mini ding dong. Can I open this? Yeah, I think you guys can look at this. Yeah, right. It's just right in front of me. There you go. But yeah, I got this guy. Okay, so first of all, let's read what the actual, entry here on Wikipedia says about this bad boy. So, Taranis, in Celtic mythology, Taranis is the god of thunder, who is worshipped primarily in Gaul, Galaica, and Britain, Ireland, but also in the Rhineland and Danube regions, amongst others. Taranis, along with Essus and Tuatatis, geez, these are some hard names, as a part of the sacred triad, was mentioned by the Roman poet Lucan in his epic poem Pharsalia as a Celtic deity to whom human sacrificial offerings were made. Taranis was associated, as was the Cyclops Brontes, thunder, in Greek mythology, with the wheel. Now, we're going to open up these other guys and check them out. But this is actually really cool. Now, why is this cool? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed this guy is the god of thunder. Now, we've had a thunder Pokemon in the past, Pokemon, that have actually, been related to thunder themselves. But this is interesting because this is coming from Celtic mythology and has a clear correction here to Britain, to the UK. A clear, connection to that, to the homeland, I guess, to some sense. But my point is, it's clearly connected to that, and even Ireland to some extent. And it is got something interesting about it, right? Being the god of thunder. Now, you will notice something in this image here, guys. Do you notice something very intriguing about this image? Now, I don't know about you, but I do notice something interesting here. First of all, the head of this thing looks like a wheel. It's got spikes and a long antenna at the back that looks like an antenna or something like a radio tower almost, or even those things that, electricity goes through. I'm not sure what they're called in English. I just know the Swedish word for it. And out of its mouth comes a cloud. And out of that cloud, you see lightning storms right there. Do you guys see that? Those lightning, just lightning strikes coming out. I mean, that is lightning right there. You can't describe that. You can't say that isn't lightning. Straight up lightning shaped. And below it, you see small little creatures, small little, things jumping around with little circular heads looking a little bit like humans and also a little bit like Meltans, right? That's kind of what they look like. That's kind of what they resemble. And back to your boy here. Again, notice, he is the god of thunder. He's got a little wheel. And he's got a little bit of a whip in his hand over there. You guys can see that. It looks to me like there is a chance that we are going to be getting this guy, this boy over here, this big boy right here, to be based on your boy Taranis. There is a chance. I mean, the mythology here makes sense, right? It fits in well. It coincides with each other. It isn't too far-fetched. Also, again, this is a thunder god. This guy's a thunder god. this thing right up here is spouting out fire. I've said that this could be Melmetal. This could be still Melmetal. This could be that, like, Taranis is actually just Melmetal's, like, another form of it, or evolution. Hence why I, wanted to take a look at this drawing here, or this concept made by your boy, the Drake. Again, thank you to Drake. This is amazing work, man. Cheers to you, brother. But looking at this, I was kind of like, I mean, this wouldn't surprise me if they went as far as to make Melmetal another form that's more godly, you know what I mean? I mean, Melmetal last appeared 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago, the war between Kalos and Galar happened. There's so many weird connections here, you know what I mean? But again, back to this bad boy over here. Oh boy. Back to this bad boy over here. The thing that's really intriguing is the other things mentioned here. So, for example, right here you can see that Taranis, along with Esus and Tuatis, or Tuatatis, I can't say this, are part of a sacred triad. Now, this could be a little bit of a hint towards what this thing could be here. So, Esus, which are the two sculptures where Esus appears, are the pillar of the boatmen from among the Parisi, on which Esus is identified by name, and a pillar from Trier among the Teveri with similar iconography. In both of these, Esus is portrayed cutting branches from trees with his axe. Esus is accompanied on different panels of the pillar of the boatman by Tarvos Triganarus, with the bull with 3 cranes, Jupiter, Vulcan, and other gods. Intriguing indeed. And then we also got this one, Totatis, which is Totatis or Teutatatis. Jeez, man, these are some hard names. Is a Celtic god who was worshipped in the ancient Gaul and Britain. On the basis of his name's etymology, he has been widely interpreted to be a tribal protector. Now, today he's best known under the name of Tuatis, and through the Gaulish oath / catchphrase by Totatis, invented by Asterix Comics by Goscinny and Uderzo. The spelling Tuatis is authentic and attested to by about 10 ancient inscriptions on the spelling. Teotetis, the god, is also known for the passage in the Lucan. And Lucan was the original one that we talked about a second ago with Taranis. My point is this, though. There's also mentions of other things, such as a part of the sacred triad was mentioned by the Roman poet Lucan, which we just talked about in his poem, as a Celtic deity to whom human sacrificial offerings were made. Taranis was associated, as was the Cyclops Brontes, thunder. The Cyclops, of course, you guys know what the Cyclops is, but Taranis was associated, as was the Cyclops Brontes. Okay? Now, you may notice with this, again, this image right here, it looks like this thing has only one eye. At the top right there, you only see one dot. It looks like an eye. It looks like Meltan somewhat, but also a bit like Melmetal, because it's huger, but it's also very thinner, so it's a little bit hard to tell. In Greek mythology, with the wheel. Many representations of a bearded god with thunderbolt in one hand and a wheel in the other have been recovered from Gaul, where this deity apparently came to be syncretized, okay, with Jupiter. These are some hard words, man. The name was, as recorded by Lucan, is unattested epigraphically, but variants of the name include the forms Tanarus, Taranuo, and Taraino. The name is continued in Irish as Tuirean, and is likely connected to with those of Germanic Norse, Thor, and Anglo-Saxon Uno, German Donar, Latvian Perkons, Lithuanian Perkunash, Slavic Pierun, Sami Horgales, and gods of thunder. Taranis is likely associated with Gaelic Ambisagurus, likely from Proto-Celtic Ambisagros. So there's a lot of connections right here. I'm not going to do the etymology of this one, but as mentioned by Brian here, regarding this guy, is that there's also a cult that follows them in the ancient evil times. Now, look back at this image. You got small little boys, little homeboys running around this big guy, and these could be cult members worshipping this thing, or it could have been cult members that drew this actual drawing on the hill, that left it there as a way, as a way of warning or worship of this massive god, deity and whatnot, which is kind of interesting when when you put it in perspective. Now, the next part of this video that I want to go through is this right here. So this was sent to me by Curious Curious Itsamente, okay, who said that look at the characteristics of metal within Feng Shui, and then look at Meltan. Then look up Wooden Horse and Metal Snake and their characteristics within Feng Shui. Also remember how Game Freak was initially saving UB Burst and Assembly for Gen 8. I was asking for some links here, but I didn't really get a response, so I decided to search these up on my own and look around a little bit, and I managed to find this. For example, here, we had the Feng Shui horse brings to your life. The characteristics represented by the horse are prosperity, forward motion or mobility, promotion or growth, loyalty, stamina, success, or victory. There's a specific depiction of horses, as well as the number of horses shown. Also, the symbolic significance. A horse or horses in motion can help you regain focus and direct you towards a path of success. Now, this is more of the, like, you know, in terms of Feng Shui, this is more like the, what you might call it, like the calendar and how that kind of represents it. But if, you know, you kind of go a bit down here, you got the Galloping Horse, which is a horse symbolizes the base energy of a horse and its speed. You got Feng Shui Golden Horse, which is a little bit more interesting here, because the Feng Shui Golden Horse is a tribute horse, which is steeping on the bed of coins and treasure, representing wealth, good fortune, nobility, control, stability, and vitality. The best direction to place this horse, and of course they talk about how you should face it. Feng Shui Flyer Top Horse, Feng Shui Pair of Tribute Horse. So there's a lot of different ones, and there's a lot of connections to, you know, metal and that sort of stuff as well. There's also a bit of a mention a bit later down, I'm pretty sure, that I read about earlier, where basically if you have, I think about here, that you've got, for example, metal. This has nothing to do with the horse, but metal itself, the element of metal within Feng Shui is a very interesting kind of concept, to put it bluntly. So right here, for example, in constructive, productive cycles, earth strengthens or produces metal, and metal strengthens and or produces water. This means you can strengthen the element of metal in a space or location by also adding the element of earth. Likewise, you can use the elements of metal to strengthen water elements in certain areas of your home. Now, down here is where it gets slightly more interesting. In the destructive cycle, the fire destroys or weakens metal, which is, you know, kind of like, you know, how in Pokemon, of course, you know, a fire type would destroy a metal type, and, you know, or sorry, a steel type, metal type, jeez, weakens metal. The metal weakens or destroys wood. Now, that's interesting, right? Because when you bring up wood here, and metal destroying wood, that is very strange to me, because that gets me thinking about the fact that Meltan is straight up, you know, related to, you know, metal, like liquid-esque metal, you know what I mean? That's what it's related to. Then you got this, you know, rumor about a wooden horse, right, being present. And if we do get a wooden horse, it would probably be a grass type, right? And would have some elements of, like, wood and, you know, foresty-esque areas to it, you know, or like, you know, kind of like just nature-esque things to it, right? And if that's being destroyed then by Meltan, that would make sense, right? This evil cult will be worshipping metals, you know, huge metal creatures. They will be worshipping them, the evil team, right? Using them to destroy everything else. You as a trainer, you use something like a, I don't know, the metal snake or the wooden horse. You use those as a way to try to counter it, but they're weak against the thing they're trying to go up against. So I don't know, man, but either way, therefore, if you have too much of a metal element, you can add a small amount of fire elements to weaken its impact. Likewise, if you have too much wood energy, they can use a small amount of metal to weaken its impact. Ultimately, a space benefits from an appropriate balance of all the 5 elements in the proper places. So yeah, I mean, in all fairness, it's a very strange kind of thing to try to explain in a full form. I want to thank Brian here for letting me know about this, because I think Taranis definitely could be the thing they based the big old, like the big boy over here at the, you know, the hill drawing, what they could have been basing it on, because it is from Celtic mythology, and these things did show up in, like, the, you know, that age, you know, in real life, these, you know, hill drawings and whatnot. They showed up around that area, and they do have a connection to, like, you know, Celtic mythology and whatnot. So it wouldn't surprise me if that is what's going on right here. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for mispronouncing a bunch of names on Wikipedia. There is a disaster trying to read them all, because I'm not the best at these words, and I mean, I'm not good with words, okay? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, though. Thank you so much for being here. I do hope you guys appreciate this, and I want to know what your opinion is on this, guys. Do you think that this could be Melmetal's new form, or some form of it that is going to be, or some new Pokemon in general? This could also just be a brand new Pokemon that's straight up shooting out lightning, and could be based on Taranis here, which is a straight up thunder god, and this thing is straight up shooting out thunder, for crying out loud. Look at that. It's the thunderstruck up there, you know what I mean? So anything is possible. I'd love to know your opinions on this, though, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. My name is RuffledRowlit. Have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.